Alafia, aho, ase, namaste, and blessings to all. Welcome to Shadow of Wolves. Here is a subject that is really avoided. Many people don't like to speak about Itutu ceremony. Many people avoid teaching about Itutu ceremony. You can teach it, but you don't need to go over the secrets. But what about those whose godparents died and they had no guidance after the godparent died, no elders to guide them? What about those who do research on the internet that they don't have the good old school books anymore and they just do things wrong? And what about those who were abandoned by their godparent, or those who just, godparents sadly just lack the knowledge? Itutu ceremony, at least Aleos, or those who are interested in the Olorisha faith, need to know. Why am I making this video? I'm making this video because there are people who have found me through word of mouth and so forth, who have had Orishas still in their house, and the person is long gone. They didn't know what to do. They are innocent. So in blessings, as we are in the month of July, and I thank God Olodumareand that I've traveled back safely from New York and Virginia, and this video was long needed and well received by many who told me they would appreciate it. So let's go on. For those of you who recently lost someone, please change the channel and watch this video when you are ready. For those of you who want to criticize and just make your own video, don't leave any comments trying to make yourself shine on my channel. Use your own channel to shine. If you don't agree, that's fine. We all agree to disagree. But this information I'm about to give those who really appreciate knowledge and information and wisdom and trust my guidance and that of my Ile. As I have done my research, I have spoken to elders before this video. Itutu ceremony, without giving the secrets, so I'm going to flow right in, is a very beautiful ceremony, and only those who were crowned in Olorisha faith are to have Itutu ceremony. Therefore, for us as Olorisha, for those who are Babalosha, for those who are Santero, Santeras, for those who are Oba because you are already crowned, of course, and those who have Olorisha on their head, where their Ori sits, as your Ori is your destiny, you are supposed to have Itutu ceremony. So let's cover different factors that have recently come up to those who have come for my help. Now, we do not get cremated. Sad enough, for those of you who love cremation ceremony, those who are crowned are not cremated. They have to have a funeral. Upon that time, Itutu ceremony is really supposed to be before our body is into earth, is presented into earth. So before we get buried, that ceremony is supposed to be done. Now, if it cannot be done, then it has to be done after. Regardless of what, it is still Itutu ceremony. We cannot just say, okay, the body of the Santera or Santero is not here, so we can't do Itutu. You still have to ask, not you, but an Oba Oriate. Please remember this, Oriate. Just remember, an Oba needs to perform this ceremony of Itutu. Upon that time, there are other people that should be there that are crowned to do certain things in helping this Oba. So the ceremony goes smooth and complete. If the family members are present and the family members are not crowned, then they need to respectfully wait in another room or outside if they're needed to be called to get something or to do something without seeing the secrets. It is a very sad ceremony for those of you who recently lost your loved one that is crowned Ibae Tunu. If it's your padrino or your madrina, it doesn't matter if they crowned you or not. If you received an orisha from this person who has passed away, respectfully, you have to respect them as your madrina or your padrino, whether you receive a local, whether you receive emojis, whether whatever it is, or you receive ideu, you receive your warriors. Those orishas from the person that passed away have to be covered with a white sheet, sitting on the floor in a stera, and the tears, as we call them tears. I don't know how to say it in Spanish. I speak English and very little Spanish, but the tears have to be taken out of that orisha because the person is no longer here on earth, okay? So when your godparent that gave you that particular orisha passes away, they have to be covered. The tears, you find an oba oriate. Many people will debate me and say, no, a Santero or a Santera can take them out just as much. That's fine. Your choice, your destiny. You choose your destiny. I'm giving you the information of this video. If someone has adopted you and they are able to take the tears out, it has to be refreshed. Why? The person is no longer here on earth. So respectfully, they have to be refreshed and washed, okay? So now, if you received, say you received a local and you are now crowned and the person has passed away and that a local is sitting there, the person who has been your madrina or padrino, they should be there respectfully, even if that orisha did not come from them, in respect to your mayores, in respect to the lagua, the elders, respecting your minors, and mayors, that means your elders. You can let them know and they can arrange with the oba or however they're doing it, or the elder of their house. But please, please, if your godparent has passed away and you received, they call it adimu, if you received an orisha, like once again, I'm repeating this because a lot of people have questions. You received ideu, imaguas, certain orishas that required la pluma, feathers, a locum. Make sure that the tears are taken out so that you can live a happy and good life. Itutu ceremony does require for us as santeros and santeras to have this ceremony done. Why is the Itutu ceremony so important? It is important so that that person's soul transitions to the other side gracefully and peacefully. It is such a beautiful ceremony. Not only do we have the oba oriate there, we have at least 2 or more people crowned to be there to help wash and do certain things for that person's orishas. Upon that time, I'm not giving secrets, but people need to know. So many people are lost. I've met people that still have orishas in their house from people that have passed away. They don't know. So upon that time, those orishas are asked individually by the Obariate. It is a divination that requires perfection. And they ask each orisha that person received, if they are leaving with the person, the Santero or Santera, Iba and Tenu, rest in peace, or if they're going to be inherited. So in my case, my godfather, I received ceremony from him when I got here from New York City into the state of Florida. May he rest in peace. Talabi, Iba Tenu, Obatala, son of Obatala. When he passed away and he had his ceremony, I inherited his Ogun and Achosi. You don't ask for this. They are given to you if they decide to go with you. Respectfully, you should not deny this beautiful inheritance of Orisha. It's disrespectful. It's an honor that I received his Ogun and Achosi. My Yubona of a Olokun. He gave me a Olokun, and my Ubona passed away when she was 91. In the Itutu ceremony, I inherited her Olokun. It was so beautiful because I was in the tambor of Yemaya, to make a long story short, and Yemaya came down twirling and twirling. And I don't go to every tambor I'm invited to, but I went to this one for, whatever reason. I'm happy in blessing my Ferefun Yemaya. So she bought back and she looked at me and then she hugged me. And as soon as I left that tambor, I got a phone call from my Padrino of Santo, who was a child of Ochun, and he said, Olokun wants to go with you. So Kinkamache Ochun Yemi, and that's my name of my Padrino of Santo. Omo Ochun Kinkamache Obaoki is my Ubon, and she's crowned Obanani Oro Ochun. So moving right along, when I received Olokun from her, I inherited her Olokun, the tears had to be taken out. I put her on an estera, which is the straw mat in representation. I like to teach and take my time, so bear with me. The straw mat, the estera, represents Africa. It is pure, it is divine. We don't step on it with our shoes. And it also represents to some people Eshu. So I put Olokun on the straw mat and I covered Olokun with a white cloth. The same thing with Ogun and Achosi, which I inherited. However, if your godparent passes, you have to take the tears out of your Orisha. Plain and simple. Now, Itutu is also a blessing because when we are crowned, our Ori is what? Our soul guide, our seat of our subconscious and conscious being. It is a seat of our destiny. Our seat of our Ori, when we get crowned, okay, and I made sure and put notes for y'all, okay? When we get crowned, the proper way, whether you receive respecting to Sheshe, I am Lukumi, and Santeria, that is my faith. When you get crowned, that lets your Ori and your spirits know that you are crowned, and your main Orisha, which mine is a Chosi, my main Orisha of my head is a Chosi, for example. Yours could be Chango or Chun. And my mother is Yemaya, and of course I'm born from Ochun, so daughter of both waters. But it lets your Orisha know that you are crowned. When you leave this earth, just like you're celebrating getting crowned, and you're so happy in Ocha and you had your ceremony, the same way we're celebrating life, we must celebrate death. Say that again. The same way we celebrate life, we celebrate death. When we receive our crown, sometimes our Orishas are inherited. They're not just inherited to people who are crowned. They can be inherited, very much so, to godchildren, to family members, and so forth. It is your responsibility, once that Orisha is in your hands from your person, your loved one, or the person who was crowned, to take the tears out and to get someone to refresh that Orisha. Moving right along. So now, in understanding that, the reason why we do Itutu ceremony, and it's a blessing when the main Orisha goes with that person, because the head is everything. But why do we do it? So that not only the soul transitions peacefully, but also too, that soul does not have to get reincarnated unless they want to. So Itutu is very, very sacred for us as Santeros and Santeras. It is very sacred because we don't have to come back here for reincarnation. Moving right along, okay? Not only does it ease the soul, but now let's move into the spiritual part of this. I have these books because why? Anyone who has walked in my life, who has passed away, friends, family, so forth, even my Padrino of Elegua, who made 88 years old before he passed, Iba Intanu, Talabi, Iba Intanu, Ochun Kalorde at 91, Iba Intanu, she was crowned Ochun. We cannot really move forward without spirit. So do remember, as you're celebrating this life of getting crowned, you move forward with what? With spirit. as well as your Orisha, but spirit comes first. First, Olodumare, Olofi, Olorun comes first. God comes first. The Trinity of God on the right hand, the Father of the skies, come first. Then your spirits and the angels in Orisha. So we move forward in Ocha, like those who are children of Oya have 9 misas. Those children of Ochosi and so forth have many ibos to do before they get crowned, to be crowned correctly. Those children of Ochosi or Ogun or Elegua, at least we receive 3 misas in understanding that before we get crowned, because we work with spirit. Spirit is everything. When we pass respectfully, for those I know that have passed on the 9th day for us, once again, in respect to my ancestors, being my mother born in Guyana, I'm going through this because everybody has a different path based on your ancestry and your belief. My mother born in Guyana and grew up in Trinidad. My ancestors on my mom's side, Guyana, Trinidad, and my grandparents being from Barbados. We worship and we do something called 9-night. So we do a certain kind of prayer. I'm going to teach you guys something different. If you do not have, your loved one is passed and they're not crowned, you can always knock the book 3 times, open the book as I have taught. So for example, this prayer right here is prayer for the guardian angels and spiritual protectors. There'll be different messages that come up for you based on your belief. But we do 9-night. Upon the 9-night, we send our spirits to travel successfully. I still do this in prayers for those who are crowned. Those who are crowned who died before their time, either tragically, God forbid, through illness, through short time, and they were not ready, we must have still misas for those who have passed, especially if they died before their time. So remember, everything that we do, we work with spirit and we work with Orisha for those who are crowned. So say, for example, you knew someone, say your wife, your husband, your cousin, or somebody, they only had their Alekis. Those Alekis cannot be passed on. Hello. Please don't be a cheapskate and do your ceremony correct when it comes to your Alekis ceremony. Please do not receive inherited Alekis. I've heard that, the nightmare before too. They have to be for you. So if you know the person is passed or whatever, get in touch with a Santera or Santera, and those Alekis have to be broken because the person is no longer here. What did I say? We celebrate death, we celebrate life. We celebrate life, we celebrate death. Now, for those of you who have a lot of spiritual items from either your spiritual guide, someone who is a spiritual leader for you, or you know that they have different dolls or different Francisca dolls or Francisco dolls, and those dolls are packed with certain secrets, they have to have camino. Camino means open road to decide on where they go. Now, if they are simply, with all blessings, this was given to me from a brother of mine that is crowned Achosi, his wife is crowned Elegua. So, for example, this is a spiritual statue, right? This can be passed on. This can be washed. It can be refreshed. It can be saged. It can be washed with Florida water because they are spiritual statues. So they can be, we can get those and wash them and we can receive them and use them. But what about different like Franciscas that have secrets inside of them and so forth? Those need caminos to be able to go. So camino means please get in touch with a spiritual person. It could be a palero, a palera, it could be a yayi, okay? Some people say yaya. It could be a sansista. It could be someone who is very high spiritual that knows what they're doing so that they could do a divination to say, okay, this Francisca has to go to the woods. This Francisco has to go to the ocean or the river or so forth. Those cannot really be kept. If they're going to stay with you, they need to be asked. Statues, we don't worship statues. I'm sure you guys know this. Orishas do not go on altars. That is completely incorrect. Orishas cannot be that is like Christianizing Orishas, which is totally against their faith. That's another issue of itself. Orishas are Orishas. They live in vessels and secrets. They're consecrated. But if you receive, say for example, I received here a beautiful blessing of a statue. This can be washed and transitioned to a loved one if something happens to me. Okay, so please, if you have questions, email me at Renee, RENEE7251 @hotmail.com. Text me 407, that's my other phone for business, 407-953-9713. If you call that number, we're not going to answer right away because you could be a robocall, okay? So people who disrespect this video or you don't have this belief, you will be blocked and deleted. If you try to shine, do it on your channel, you will be like muffled. And then listen, I only respect those who have questions, who appreciate this video. Please ask questions if you have them. Leave your comment here or email me or text me or call me. But do remember that we need to allow our loved ones to rest in peace. If we're constantly in tears and torment, which is natural, when someone passes away, the spirit cannot transition and elevate. If we hold on to belongings like clothing, that's another warning, shoes, jewelry, and we don't burn it and get rid of it or take it to a cemetery, we're not allowing our loved ones to rest. You know, for example, I have told, because we have to celebrate life and death, I have told my loved ones, burn my clothes, get rid of my clothes. Now it's different when I pass, because I am crowned a Chosi. Yes, Itutu ceremony is necessary. When the head Orisha stays in Itutu, that means the person was not ready to go. With my blessings, Padrino, Talabi, Ibai Tanu, he was meant to ascend. He died at 88 years old. He was crowned Obatala, and thank you, Obatala left with him. So that is a sheer sign that it was his time. We need to respect those who have passed, even those who are not crowned. Every religion is different. Every belief is different, but they need prayers and light. We don't continuously keep feeding foods and so forth. I know this video was long, but my God, I have received so many emails, so many things, and people need to know. If you have Orishas in your house from your loved ones who have passed away and you didn't know better, you are without sin and without fault. Make sure that you have the proper guidance of elders, not just to throw obi. They have to have the katakos and so forth, and it should be, with all humble respect, an obari ate that needs to perform that Itutu ceremony. You can still give camino to those orishas that are in your house. But if the person passed away, they got no business in your house, whether you're crowned or not. You need to let them go to the other side and do the correct Itutu ceremony. So, in blessings to all of you, Itutu also, with those of you who have passed, we wear our clothes that we were crowned in. So in my case, I have my clothes of a Chosi. Some people are crowned Elegua. They have their Elegua clothes to be buried in. If you don't have the clothes for your loved one, they go in all white, and that is just fine. What really counts is the goodness and the true value of Iwa Pele, of the soul while it was on earth. The good deeds of that soul done, not vengeance, not evil, not witchcraft, not hate, jealousy. Let go of the 7 deadly sins, because this life is not promised to you. You will leave and you will go to the other side, and your good merits of faith will be judged by Olofi and Olodumare even before your Orisha. So do understand that. Do good on this earth so that you can transition. Your Ori will tell your personality. I could look at your Ita and I could tell you exactly who you are by reading your Oduns. And I could, if I don't know, I'm going to ask an elder. That's the right thing to do. But it tells a lot about who you are and what Ori you carry by your Oduns. So in blessings to all, And blessings to all who appreciate life and are not critical and hateful. Alafia, aho, I say namaste, and blessings to you all. I hope this was helpful.